Hi, I'm Manny Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Gemini for October 2016. Go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, where you can see what's new on my blog, and if you have a vision of your future self that you want to bring into the now, manifest your dream life, check out my Spiritual Warrior Weekend, which you can attend live in Sarasota, Florida in November, or you can attend virtually if you can't make it to Sarasota. So what's going on in October? We've got lots of sweet spots, lots of challenges. We've got some things specific for Gemini, some general transits. So let's just get into all of this. I'm calling the theme specific for Geminis this month, Crazy Fun. And this is because of short and long-term focus in the fifth house of fun. I promised last month that I would get more into what the change of sign for Jupiter could mean for you specifically. Talked about Jupiter expanding partnerships for everyone. It's moving into the sign of Libra, which works on your relationships. But specifically for Geminis, the early degree placements are going to start a transit of Jupiter through the fifth house. Now remember that the early degree placements are basically May-born Geminis, or 0 to 9 degrees for your rising sign. And so that's what I mean by early. And the rest of you are middle and late. So we're grouping the middle and late together on this one because early degree placements have Jupiter moving into the fifth house now. Middle degree placements is going to be staggered for months, several months, up to even 6 months, depending on your middle degree placement. And late degree placements, you're going to have this long-term focus. It might be almost a year, 6 months to a year before your year of your Jupiter transit starts in the fifth house. So middle degree and late degree placements still have Jupiter activating the fourth house. So I'm going to talk about what all of this can look like. Also, you know that I have a blog. It's an extensive blog on various topics, but I have a specific astrology blog. So if you go to anniehelpsyou.com, click on blog, click on astrology, do a search for Jupiter in the bottom right. The information that I'm giving you, plus more information about Jupiter placements, are in this blog. It's very comprehensive. So if you want to get a really good idea and have in one compact place this information and more, then you can check that out there. Okay, so the placement of Jupiter this month also, which is the long-term transit, also has short-term transits moving through. So that makes this, wherever Jupiter is, a perfect thing to talk about for short-term transits like the month of October, because you've got short-term and long-term focus in these areas. So for the early degree placements and coming soon for the rest of you, Jupiter is going to be expanding your house of fun. This is the house of hobbies. So going crazy with learning about new ways that you can do things that you enjoy. Pleasures. This is the house of everything having to do with children. Fertility, conception, pregnancy, childbirth, child rearing, helping other people with children, if they're not your own children, caretaking, teaching children. Any creative project that's like a baby falls into this house, because for some people, they don't have children. Their creative projects are their babies. And some people have children and they still have babies that are their creative projects. So it's the energy of creativity in the many forms that this can come. It's also the house of leadership. So stepping into your authority about what's true for you and following your own individual path of joy is all fifth house. This is the house of music, athleticism, singing, acting. So any of those kinds of hobbies or any other gifts that people have creatively, any work involving these things can be dramatically expanded. This is an amazing time to go on your dream vacation, or cross things off of your bucket list. If you have a bucket list, this is a time to just go really big. You can make your new way of life during the time of this transit be one that is more focused on fun. Since Jupiter moves in 12-year cycles, any work you do while Jupiter is in this house, it plants seeds that can grow anytime in the next 12 years. So it's not just this 1 year that you get to benefit from the energy and anything that you plant at this time. These seeds can pop up at any time in the next 12 years. So the more seeds you plant, the more plants can pop up. Jupiter wants you to go very wide in your expression. Dabble in this, dabble in that, try this, work on this. It's very expansive in every direction. So the rest of you that have the middle and late degree placements, you still have Jupiter accentuating your fourth house. And there are short-term energies here for you as well for the month of October specifically. Jupiter in the fourth house means freedom and expansion to home and family. And this looks different for different people. So Jupiter in expanding one person's home space could mean a bigger house, a more expensive house, a less expensive but bigger house, a place that feels more expansive. If you live in the city, you might feel expanded by moving to the country. If you feel limited by the country, you might feel more expanded by moving to the city, where there are more things to do. Whatever your subjective experience of expansion is for home, that is what wants to happen. It's amazing for real estate ventures. It's amazing for anything involving homes or work on homes or expansion to your own home or building onto your home or beautifying your home or anything like that. So it can be wonderful if you're trying to sell a house or if you want to buy a house. This energy can also expand your family. So you can actually have a baby or someone marry into your family or closer relations with your family or more harmony in your family relations. Since the fourth house has to do with childhood issues, it's an emotional house, you might find that you have impetus to heal childhood traumas. Michael Brown, who wrote The Presence Process, which is one of my all-time favorite self-development books, said that you're either living your life charged or you're living your life in charge. If you're living your life charged, that means that you have unresolved things that when someone or something occurs, it strikes a chord and it makes you react. That's living your life charged. It's not a very good quality of experience. It's not good for your relationships, and it perpetuates old patterns. Living your life authentically in charge has to do with neutralizing the charges. And one of the best ways to do that is to focus on the issues that started in childhood that have been echoing out your whole life. So Jupiter moving through this house is amazing for healing the issues that are causing problems with your birth family and your family that you have birthed, since the patterns tend to perpetuate. So any self-development that's done during this time radiates out very far. Sometimes Jupiter makes more problems. It amplifies an issue as an effort to bring about the resolution. So if you don't get sufficiently aggravated by something to take action, sometimes you don't take action. And Jupiter sometimes provides that impetus to do something about it. And the action that you take to do something about it results in the gains. And so Jupiter then results in the gains. But sometimes it's before, it makes things a little messier first so that you can have it in your face, deal with it, and get through it. So this can also expand the energy of mother in the many different ways that can mean, or maternal energies with yourself or coming to you. So these are the things that are specific for Gemini energy. And remember, go to the Jupiter blog on my website, anniehelpsyou.com, because it has a nice summary of Jupiter in Libra, which everyone will experience, Jupiter in the fifth house, which early degree placements and soon the rest of you will experience, and middle degree placements, that fourth house that it's expanding now. So now I want to talk about the sweet spots and the challenging spots in this, and the launch potentials, the birth potentials in the month of October by discussing the general transits. I'm calling the theme of October Intense Impetus for New Birth. So we know whenever we birth something, whether it's an actual child or whether it's a creative project or whether it's a new dimension of an experience, anything new often will come with birthing pains. And this month is full of opportunities to have birthing pains, or also described as the pressure that it either takes to step into a new experience, or the pressure it takes to birth something into the tangible dimension, into the this reality, the third dimension. So there are awesome opportunities for launches, for new things coming in. And actually, this is the first month in all of 2016, starting on October 7th and running through around December 2nd, the first few days in December, that we don't have a personal planet retrograde or a shadow interfering with a launch. There have been a couple of other launch phases that I've recommended this year, but neither of those two main phases were completely clear of retrogrades. But we do have to have some time before this time now in October where we were doing some things, launching new things. But this is the period of time now that it's wide open from the perspective of the personal planets being clear of retrograde. So this month is just like such a mixed bag because it has some beautiful aspects, actually even starting at the end of September. September 26th is the first one. I'll go into that. And straight through the end of the month, October 30th is my favorite day of the month for birthing, which I'll get more into that as well. But in between all of those openings for pushing things forth, moving things along, there is a lot of pressure and opposition, challenges. Sometimes it's the challenge, the opposite, that the thing opposing us that actually creates the intense impetus to do something different. And so we get comfortable in our lives and in circumstances, and sometimes it's easier to just let things be than it is to rock the boat in a way that you would have to be able to create a new life, to birth a project, to birth a new dimension of reality. So this month, it seems like it's completely astrologically designed to bring that pressure that's necessary for the new birth. So if you have brought something out at the end of September, or if you're preparing to launch something, just know you might have a little bit of touch and go before the energy is more clear. The energy gets more clear in November, or actually starting October 30th. So I'll give you some good dates that I really like for launching things. And know that if you sign up for my free email newsletter on my website, anniehelpsyou.com, that you get a more detailed review of the month ahead in writing, along with more dates and things that go on in those dates, and good dates and challenging dates, etc. So I'm giving you some summaries of some of the points here, but you can get more access to that a month ahead of time by signing up for my free newsletter. Okay, so October 1st, we have, well, actually, backtrack. September 26th is one of the most wonderful days of the year for expansion, growth, benevolence, luck. It just happens to be that we're kind of fresh off of Mercury going direct on September 22nd. So it's going to be a great launch date, but I'm putting some conditions in there. If you're launching something that is a relaunch, is a phase of something that is a short-term phase, is addressing something short-term, is like a leg of a journey or a piece of something, then September 26th is fabulous. If it's something that this is the unveiling, the first time someone is ever seeing it, you might want to wait until that October 30th date if you can help it, or at least into October, because you want that Mercury retrograde energy to be more clear when you're launching something for the first time or something long-term. Sometimes we fall under this misconception that you can't do anything in Mercury retrograde or shadow, and that's not true. You can do plenty of things, and you can check out my Mercury retrograde video to see more about that. But the things it mostly dictates is short-term ventures and legal contracts. That you want to avoid is long-term ventures and legal contracts, because the energies are murky and they're subject to change. So that's why I say if you've got something that's like a leg of a journey or something like that for a launch, then September 26th is amazing. Also, ultimately, you always have to trust your intuition and your own flow, because there are sometimes, very often, that personal transits in your personal chart will supersede things in the general transits, so that's a very important thing to note always when you're listening to astrological dates and forecasts. So September 26th is an amazing day. October 1st is another awesome day. Venus in Pisces is making a trine, which is the most favorable angle in astrology, to Neptune in Pisces, and that brings amazing healing and artistic, anything having to do with healing, the healing arts, or artistic expression. And Venus, which rules love, beauty, and money. So that's a sweet angle. October 26th, we have Venus in Sag making a 60-degree angle to Jupiter in Libra. And a 60-degree angle is a favorable angle, but it's one that you often have to do something to activate its full glory. Sometimes trines will come and you can activate the energy as well, but sometimes they'll just bring blessings without you having to do much. But the 60-degree angle that we have on October 26th really wants some sort of action. So Venus combined with Jupiter is like love, beauty, money in a beautiful angle to expansion and growth and luck. So that's a sweet day. My favorite day of the month, and mark this with a big star on your calendar, is October 30th. We have a new moon at 18 degrees of Scorpio. This new moon is conjunct Mercury, and it also trines Neptune. So we've had a lot of new moons this year that have sort of been conflicted or afflicted with their energies because there were difficult angles going on at the same time. And you do have some challenging energy the days before the new moon, but by the time the new moon comes, most of that should be clear. So it's a really great launching pad for anything. You're free of the Mercury retrograde shadow at the beginning of the month. You're free of the challenging angles that dance throughout the month. And so it's just a really nice time. Okay, so there are more dates that I give in my newsletter that are good dates with some more details there too. So some dates that will likely come with growing or birthing pains or challenges are October 5th, the 15th and 16th, the 19th, and the 28th, 29th. And again, like I said, there are more challenging dates throughout the month of October, which you can see the full list when you sign up for my newsletter, but I don't have time to go into all of them. There are just so many. So October 5th, we have Mars in Capricorn squaring Jupiter in Libra. When these planets come together in this angle, it can often lead to overpromising or having overpromised something and not being able to deliver it, or some sort of overextension of action or will. It could also manifest as obstacles in the way of you trying to do something. Mars is action, and when Jupiter is making a difficult angle, it's like you don't have the great expander on your side. It's being antagonistic. So you'll see some things come up there. October 15th and 16th, it's just like a powerhouse of challenge. I think that challenge can be a very, very, very positive thing. So the way I frame challenges, especially if you are being accountable for your own happiness, if you are taking responsibility for the quality of your experience, we can't control the things that will happen always, right? Very often it's completely out of our control, certain destined events. However, we can control the quality of our experience. And when we have challenges, it often causes us to activate that aspect of free will that we have in our charts and stand up for it and do something about it. And sometimes that takes pressure. So on October 15th and 16th, we have this is a yearly event. The Sun opposes Uranus. That makes a 180-degree angle, and it is a challenging angle. So things can come up that can be jostling, erratic people or inconsistencies interfering with something you're trying to do. Mercury is also squaring Pluto, so power figures, someone using their power not in a good way. That could be interfering with your personal expression. And October 16th, we have a full moon at 23 degrees of Aries, and this is a supermoon. This is the fourth supermoon of the year. We have 6 supermoons this year. A supermoon is when the moon is closer to the earth, and you can see it because the moon actually looks bigger. You ever look in the sky and say, whoa, the moon looks huge. It's like right there. That's a supermoon. And we're more affected by everything that the moon affects when there's a supermoon. The gravitational pull on the earth and its inhabitants are increased dramatically when the moon comes closer, especially when it comes into its fullness. So anything that would happen on a full moon will likely be magnified. So that could be lots of emotions, not only negative emotions, there could also be positive emotions. I've had many full moons where I was just brimming with joy, overflowing emotions that were happy. So we're not going to assume that every full moon has to bring some negative drama, although it tends to, because I always use the example of a dog when it gets wet. I love dogs. And when they get wet, they shake, 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 right? And if water represents emotion here, and it does in general, it's like at the full moon, we shake, shake, shake off the excess emotions that we don't process or deal with throughout the month. So this supermoon is in Aries, and one possible challenging aspect of this could bring a health impetus to focus on your health. So could that come through crisis? Yes, maybe, some sort of incident with your health or symptoms or something that maybe they were in the backdrop and then they just got up right in your face. Something like that. Something having to do with yourself, your self-esteem. A very positive aspect that could manifest with a full moon in Aries is amazing recognition and being thrown out into the limelight with it being all about you. Something coming to fruition, something coming to manifestation involving you and what you're doing and what your image is. And, so many people will be cast out in the limelight in this supermoon time. It's really important to note that these transits, even though I give you the dates of them, we can often feel them days before. And the bigger transits, we can feel them weeks or months before sometimes. But the transits that are present this month, you could feel them before, within days before, or within days afterwards. I tend to feel things early. So most of the time when there's a challenging transit, before it comes, it's all right in front of me. And then by the time it actually comes, it's past already. The tension is past. Kind of like when you're, when a race car driver is going around a track. And when it gets to the point, if you've ever done like go-karts or anything, then you're like excited to go forward, and then you have to slow down because there's that turn and it's awkward, and then you can zoom for the straight track. So that's similar, I liken it to that. So there's a lot of antagonistic energy at this time, but there's also a lot of chance for fruition, and there's a lot of pressure that's building that can facilitate your birthing of new things. The next transit that can be challenging is Mars and Pluto conjunct in Capricorn, and this occurs on October 19th. So when you have Mars, the god of war, and Pluto, the god of the underworld that rules birth, death, transformation, rebirth, atomic energy, get together, all of those traits will likely be magnified. Now, people can use that for good. People can have their ambitions soar during this transit and get thrown into a position, again, of recognition. There's a theme of this. But there could also be negative energy that brews to the point of verbal or even physical violence. People will be on edge, and angers and tensions may run high. So just be really careful around this time. Don't push anything, if there's a situation that could be sketchy, and just breathe. October 28th and 29th, Mars, again, is in an aspect with a planet that it doesn't work well with when it's in a square. So Mars square Uranus, especially in Aries, which is like this fiery catapult of energy, and Aries rules Mars. So there's again, this combination of this very forceful, assertive energy. So just be really careful with your actions and other people's actions. And, if things like, I went to the library the other day and I saw 2 security guards going up, like one called the other one, and I was like, that doesn't look like a good situation. I think I'm going to get out of this situation. Like that, just kind of be looking around for things that don't look right or feel right, and distance yourself from them, and don't purposely put yourself in any situations that could be like that if you can help it. So those are the things that are most on my mind for the general transits for October. Again, definitely go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, see what's new on my blog. I have a new blog on there for making powerful wishes for the new moon in Scorpio, specific for Scorpio wishes. You can advance your wishing power when you align the new moon wishes with the subjects of the sign that the new moon is in. So you can read more about that on my blog. And while you're there, definitely sign up for my free email newsletter, and you will get more details the month ahead about the upcoming transits, often some additional details than I give in the horoscopes. While you're there, if you are looking to expand your monetary earning potential or magnetic potential, check out my Unleash Your Money Magnet. So you can click on my programs and check out my other programs in my Unleash Your Money Magnet. So I hope that you have a wonderful month of October. If you want to become a spiritual warrior, then you can check out my Spiritual Warrior Weekends. I'm having a live and virtual option for that experience in November. So you can see more of that on my website. Hope you have a wonderful month. See you soon. Bye.